Namaste. So observing in yourself what effect the chant has. The sound of Om is said to be the sound of all sounds. So it can incorporate the loud trucks and the sirens and our own mental chatter, our emotions. They can all go into the sound. We can direct whatever is within us into that sound and then help settle the vibrations. So we want to become smooth, flowing, receptive, and open. So the tools such as chanting are a way to calm the mind and to calm the emotions in particular. And Swami Radha recommended chanting, especially if you are feeling emotional, because it's a way to release the emotion from the body. So we all live in our bodies, and sometimes it becomes kind of cramped in there, especially if we're carrying a lot of concerns. So to be able to free that up and transform what we're feeling in ourselves into something more neutral. And we don't have to even analyze or worry or be concerned that we're feeling a certain way. It's like we can transform it. And then in retrospect, we may be able to go back and see what was happening in a clearer way instead of being caught in the emotion. One of the basic premises of the book is that energy is neutral and that we have a choice of how we use it. So sometimes we think that there's like good and evil or positive and negative. It's like a range of vibration. And as individuals, we can direct the power. We have the power to direct that neutral energy. So this is an incredible degree of power that we actually have, that we may not have noticed before. So think about that for yourself. And symbolically, Swami Radha talks about Shiva and Shakti. And Shiva being the ultimate source of all energy, the vibration, the cosmic consciousness, the vast reservoir, the unseeable universe beyond the manifest. So it's like visualizing an ocean of light. It's like visualizing or acknowledging that Om sound, that it's beyond all sounds and incorporates all sounds and yet is not limited to sound, that it's like a source that's almost unimaginable. But we have these ways of connecting with it through sound and through using our imagination in a positive way, through an image of light. So light is the most subtle image that the mind can hold. And we can think of light not only outside ourselves, but within ourselves. We can think of light filling our body. We can think of the light of the heart as compassion. And we can think of our mind being filled with light. So it doesn't have to be something external. And the thing that I've come to really love about the book Light and Vibration is it shows that the external universe, any metaphor that we think about, can become internal as well. So we ourselves have a source of light within us. And how do we tap into that personal source? How do we open to that limitless compassion of the heart? What is the potential of our mind? And what about the imagination? So sometimes the imagination can be a power that gets us into trouble because we imagine the worst. Often we worry, we become anxious, and that's a power of the imagination used in a kind of uncultivated way. So when we understand that that's a neutral power, then how can we start to direct it into the positive? So it takes the judgment out. It doesn't say, like, I'm a bad person because I'm thinking this. It's like, okay, well, how do I want to use the power of my imagination? How do I want to use the power of my emotions Do they always have to go into anger or fear? Can I use them to uplift me? Can I use them to generate a positive force in the world? So everything that we're given can be used by us. And this is Shakti. This is the power of form, the power of manifestation. So that immense power of the universe is channeled through us in our forms as human beings. And then we have the power to start to emanate something that we want to happen in the world around us. So you see this today when people are becoming very concerned about the environment, about peace, and people group together and they become a vortex that then can emanate out a different force in the world. So we live this. We know that we're not all powerful in some sense, that we're in some ways part of a political system, part of nations, and yet we do have a power. We do have the power of being able to be positive, being able to come up with creative solutions. And we have to recognize that power of responsibility in ourselves. And when we do, then it starts to emanate out and echo back to us. We get the result of that directed power. So you can even see that when we do something like chant Om. It stops a normal flow of the mind and then directs it somewhere. We may not know exactly what that direction is, but if you start practicing, if you start doing something like a mantra practice, or a visualization practice, or a breath practice, then you start to observe the effect of that on yourself. And you start to become a more peaceful person. And if you become more peaceful, then you add that much more peace to the world. So the more we're in our own raging emotions, then the more we're emanating that out into our environment. So this is the degree of responsibility that we can each take for ourselves, and we do have some power over that. So this is the exciting starting place, recognizing that we have power of choice in our own lives.